Alright, welcome back, beautiful people. So we're here with Thor doing a quick build video for him, but first I want to cover his abilities and how you can level him two different ways. He has two different styles of play, one of the few guys that actually has that. You can go for the high risk, high reward with his one, just try to level that up. Reason why it's high risk, because you kind of have to have pretty good Tectonic Rifts, which is your two, to kind of confirm the damage on your one to get that double tap. Now, I'd probably recommend leaving at least 2 points into your 2, so that should give you enough time to land your double taps. Or if that's too much of a risk for you, want more confirmed damage, then just go ahead and try to maximize your 3. Now, let's just go right into building Thor, starting with Conquest. If you're jungling, of course you want to go with the Bumba's Mask. If you're doing solo lane, or any lane for that matter, you probably just want to go with the Bluestone. If you're probably support Thor, then you can go Watchers or Bluestone, doesn't really matter. But outside of that, let's just go straight into the build, starting with the boots, warrior tabby. No other real reason to get any other boots. Next, since Thor is more of an ability-based assassin, actually that's all he really is. He's not really looking to do too much basic attack damage. He's just looking to ulti in, spin to win, double tap hammers, just all abilities. So we're just looking to maximize our cooldown reduction, our physical power, and then penetration. That's the only thing we're really looking for. Now, towards the later stages of the game, Thor's damage ideally kind of falls off, and you're looked as more of a initiator to go in with your support, you know, just make some plays. And with that being said, you're probably going to take a decent amount of damage. So with that being said, that kind of dictates how we build. So warrior tabbing. Next, go into Yoan's Wrath for the cooldown reduction. Penetration, power, has everything you ever want as a ability-based assassin. Next, there are a few defensive options that you can go into. The most common and the one that I like to go into is the Breastplate of Valor right after Yoan's Wrath. Reason being, 40% cooldown reduction. That is the cap. Tons of physical protections, which is always great, and mana to complement the cooldown reduction. Another thing is Thor takes up a lot of mana, and then with all this mana, great warning, and with all this mana you can pick up Transcendence. This is a semi-popular item for ability-based assassins. The reason being is it gives a lot of physical power, especially when it's all stacked up. So you can pick this up somewhere throughout your build, maybe your last item or whatever. It's just based off mana, so the stacks aren't too important. So if you're capped level 20, you pick this up, it's still going to give you a good amount of power spike, and I'll show you guys that later on. Next, after we have our first couple items here, traditionally you just go into Titan's Bane. It's good to have a mix of both flat physical penetration for targets that aren't building any physical protection, and then always great having a percentage base against tankier targets, and also works great against objectives, towers, phoenix, fire giants, things like that. Next, since we already have the physical protection, and with Borg being so strong, you might see some of this going on. The Borg of Hope gives a good amount of magical protection, obviously. Health is always great. The crowd control reduction, it's a nice bonus stat, but what we're mostly looking at is the passive. It's honestly a little ridiculous. It might get nerfed in the future. But yeah, so you go below a certain health threshold and you get a life shield. There's no timer to it. It just stays on, so if they don't damage it off right away, it just stays with you. It's just extra health. And then of course you can go into more penetration. Sometimes you see some ability-based assassins like Thor, they would go into Abolish Beast Stick. They're not necessarily going for that passive of just reducing healing. They're more so just looking for that flat physical power, and again that flat physical penetration. So you can pick that up if you want, or you can go into more defensive items. Now, there are some other defensive items that you can go into if you don't want to go into Breastplate, if you don't want to go to the Borg of Hope. If your team is ahead and winning, and you're getting a lot of kills and assists on your team, you can go to the Height of the Urchin in place of the Breastplate of Valor, or you can pick this up later on. Just keep in mind this works best if you're getting a lot of kills and assists, obviously, on your team, so that way you can get all stacks. Since the stacks are more important in Season 3 compared to Season 2, let's say if you're fighting a team that's mostly magical gods, then you can go into the Breastplate of Valor. It's not too ideal. Then you can go into the Borg of Hope. Mantle of Discord, it's a very popular item right now for just building just any type of tankiness against cooldown reduction, which Thor could use. The thing, if you go into this, you're at a weird place at 35% cooldown reduction, so it's kind of awkward picking up another cooldown reduction item like Spirit or whatever. But yeah, let's just go with the basic Breastplate of Valor. I don't know why I put a P there. Breastplate of Valor. You could go into Borg of Hope. If not, you can just go into like any other power item. I've seen some of this, some of the stone cutting sword. It's a little pricey, but then again, I mean, Mantle Discord is pretty pricey, but this gives you 50 physical power, which he makes great use out of it. Movement speed. Movement speed is always great for chasing down targets, and when you're using your 3, that extra movement speed can be used for sticking, and the passive is actually not too bad of a passive to have. But yeah, so let's go into that Transcendence and see what it looks like. We have 110 physical power right now. We pick this up. It jumps all the way up to 198. So that's quite a bit with the no stacks. I mean, it says 35 on the actual item, but if you take into account all the mana that we have from both Breastplate and Yolen's Wrath and just being level 20, it's actually quite a bit of physical power, again, without the stack. So you can go into something like this. Again, you can always change up the defensive items if you're choosing to your situation or whatever. But yeah, this is the pretty of the basics, and relics always depends on your situation. If you're doing solo lane Thor, typically solo laners would go ahead and go with the teleport just to get back to their lane quicker. Jungling, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Sprint is always great, just team fight relic. So it just kind of depends on what your team needs, and of course, just every situation is different. So that's pretty much the basics here, and should about just cover everything. No need for attack speed items, no need for crit. You could probably get Deathbringer just for the high power spike, but then you can get Stone Cutting Sword instead. So I don't want to make this video too long, so hopefully this was pretty basic and helpful for any newer players out there or just new to Thor. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.